So friends, the story continues from where we left off, where Youngwoo and Hanol came face to face with each other. We're shown how Youngwoo ended up at that place. After falling into huge debt, he had to sell his house, his car, basically everything he had. At least for now, he just needed a place to stay. That's why Kyungmin suggested this house to him, since it was actually Kyungmin's own property. And so, Youngwoo moved in. When Youngwoo entered the house, it was obviously small for him, but he had no choice. He had to adjust for now. He was still looking around the house when he got a call from his mom, who lives in America. She asked if he was doing okay. Youngwoo could feel that she was really worried about him, but instead, she said that his dad is running for chairman next year, so she begged him not to do anything that could ruin their effort. As soon as she said this, she hung up the call. Youngwoo was left feeling even more emotional, realizing that sometimes in life, when you go down, your whole family has to face the consequences too. His eyes filled with tears. And right then, Hanol appeared behind him. Both of them were shocked to see each other. Hanol asked, "You're Youngwoo, right?" But Youngwoo tried to deny it, saying, "No, I'm not." Hanol insisted, "You are. What are you doing here? Did you come to meet me?" Youngwoo replied, "Why would I want to meet you? I've rented this house. That's why I'm here. And what about you?" Hanol said, "That's not possible, because I live in this building." And when both realized they were going to be neighbors now, their faces said it all, awkward and stunned. In the next scene, we see Hanol talking to her friend Lee Hong. Hanol is asking her if Kyungmin has rented the upper apartment to someone. Lee Hong replies yes, he just rented it out today. Meanwhile, Youngwoo is also talking to Kyungmin. Youngwoo is asking, "Why didn't you tell me that Lee Hong's friend Hanol lives here too? Didn't you know she was my classmate in school?" Kyungmin casually replies, "That's a good thing, right? You guys were classmates. Or was she your first love?" Youngwoo instantly denies it. "No way. She was just a competitor to me." And just then, he starts remembering the year 2009. Even during free class time, Hanol was always studying. Youngwoo, sitting with his friends, kept watching her. The class wasn't even halfway done, and Hanol had already eaten 5 packets of dry coffee. Kim said, "She's so into studying. When you study, you do it calmly and quietly. But she's like a bulldozer." Then Kim started mimicking Hanol's intense study habit, which made a bit of noise in the class. Hanol yelled at him and told him to shut up. Kim came back to Youngwoo and whispered, "See how scary she is. This time, I'm sure she'll beat you." Hearing that, Youngwoo replied, "She can't beat me." Young added, "If you really think that, then why are you shaking so much?" We see Youngwoo's legs trembling. He tries to make an excuse, saying, "It's just cold." But deep down, Youngwoo was clearly nervous, because today, the teacher was going to hand out their test results and Youngwoo was seriously anxious. And in the next scene, when it was Youngwoo's turn, the teacher handed him the report card and even praised him. Youngwoo was sure that he must have scored the highest in the class, but as soon as he looked at his report card, he saw that he came in second. Seeing this, he fainted and fell to the ground. His friends rushed to catch him and tried to bring him back to consciousness, but Youngwoo was so shocked that he couldn't even walk on his own. So they had to carry him down. After this incident, Youngwoo was so provoked that he started acting like a little kid, teasing Hanol, trying to race ahead of her on his bicycle. And not just that, to get ahead of Hanol, he even started copying. When Hanol would eat 1 packet of dry coffee, Youngwoo would deliberately eat 2 to annoy her. One day, their teacher asked both of them to solve a math problem in front of the whole class. For Hanol, this was nothing new, but for Youngwoo, it was a full-blown war. They both started solving the math problem. This time, Youngwoo just wanted to beat her no matter what. And he actually did it. He solved the problem before Hanol. He was so happy that he even solved her question too, just to rub it in. You can tell me in the comment box, how are you in study? Back in the present, we see Lee Hong asking Hanol, if he's just living here, then what's the big deal? Hanol replied, "Back in school, we used to be after each other all the time. It's a long story. That's why I don't want to see his face again." Lee Hong said, "You know, when a guy and a girl keep fighting like that, they usually end up falling in love. Maybe you two will fall for each other too. And if he's handsome, maybe go on a date." Hanol shut her down and said, "That's not going to happen. Anyway, he won't stay here long. I beat him in school. I know him well. He won't be able to live in front of me." And on the other side, we see Youngwoo thinking the same thing. He says to himself, no matter what happens, I'm not staying here in front of her. So he starts looking for a new house, but every apartment he checks requires a deposit to rent. And seeing that, Youngwoo drops the plan completely. That night, while Youngwoo was walking outside the building, he bumps into Hanol again. She ignores him and tries to walk away, but Youngwoo steps in and blocks her path. Hanol asks him, "What's your problem now? Do you want to fight again?" Youngwoo says, "No, nothing like that. I just need to say something." Hanol replies, "Whatever you want to say, Say it quickly. Actually, Youngwoo wanted to indirectly ask her if she would be okay if he stayed there. So he says, as you know, I've got a case going on and I'm under 3.7 billion won in debt. So for now, I have no choice but to live here. But I'm sure you must be feeling uncomfortable having me around. Before Youngwoo could even finish and ask if he should move out, Hanol interrupted and said, I don't care whether you stay here or not. Saying that, she started to walk away. Youngwoo continues telling his story to Hanol, saying, I had debt of more than 10 billion. That's why I had to sell my house, my car, everything. But as he speaks, Hanol starts yawning and says, okay, if you want to move somewhere else, go ahead. Saying this, she starts walking away. Youngwoo stops her and says, why would I move out? I was talking about you moving away. Just then, Hanol's uncle shows up. Seeing them, he asks what the problem is. Youngwoo quickly says, oh no. There's no problem. I was just talking to this girl. The uncle points at Hanol and says, that girl is my niece. Then he walks away. Moments later, Hanol's younger brother arrives too. He also notices Youngwoo and stops for a second. Youngwoo, trying to be friendly, says, the shop owner seems a bit too angry. The younger brother replied, that man who just left is my uncle. Hearing that, Youngwoo thinks to himself, looks like she lives here with her entire family. Kicking her out of this place is going to be impossible. Later, Youngwoo goes back inside and quietly lies down. Meanwhile, downstairs, Hanol's younger brother, Namda, tells their mom, I met the guy who just moved in upstairs. He seems nice, but I think there are 2 people living up there. I saw another man go inside too. Then we're shown that same mysterious man secretly keeping an eye on Youngwoo. Youngwoo senses that someone is outside, so he comes out to check, but no one is there. That night, Youngwoo again sees that same terrifying nightmare, the one from the operation room. He wakes up scared and sweaty. The next morning, Hanol is in a hurry to leave for the hospital. She's drying her hair while walking out the door. Her uncle Taesun tells her to stop and dry it properly first, but Hanol says, I don't have time. I'll manage it on the way. Then she rushes off. Meanwhile, we see Youngwoo stepping outside, and just then, the shop assistant, Taesun, shakes out a cloth forcefully, and all the dust goes straight into Youngwoo's eye. Taesun apologizes immediately and says, I didn't see you coming. Elsewhere, we see Dae-gun sitting alone in his clinic. Not a single patient has come all day. His assistant, Miss Kim, tells him, you should really do something to promote the clinic. These days, even doctors use social media to grow. Dae-gun says, how can I use Youngwoo's name or position for my own benefit? I'm not that kind of person. But then he admits, okay, I know I say bad things about him behind his back, but there's a reason. There's a story between us. Hearing this again, the 2 nurses say, please don't. We've already heard your story so many times. We're tired of it. Meanwhile, we see Youngwoo checking out a new house. But as soon as the landlady sees him, she recognizes him. She pulls the dealer aside and starts talking about Youngwoo behind his back. Just then, Youngwoo receives a call from Kyungmin. In the next scene, we see Youngwoo meeting with Kyungmin. Youngwoo had asked him to find out more about the man who was present in the operation room during the surgery. That guy used to work at Youngwoo's own clinic. Kyungmin tells him, I couldn't find anything about him. He's not even on social media. Then he asks, but why are you so interested in him? Youngwoo revealed he was the only one who changed his statement during the hearing. Everyone else who was present in the operating room stood by their original statement, but he didn't. He changed his words. And because of that, I lost the case. He adds, that's why I'm still suffering. The investigation was still going on. Kyungmin asks Youngwoo, if you were suspicious of him, why did you hire him at your clinic in the first place? Youngwoo replies, because there was something different about him. Usually, people make appointments when they want a job, but he directly met me. He handed me his resume himself. Seeing his skills and his face, I felt like maybe he really needed that job, so I didn't ask him many questions. Kyungmin says, you're a professional doctor. You shouldn't be this careless. You can't trust someone so easily. Just then, Youngwoo gets a message from the housing agent. The owner had refused to rent the house to him. This made Youngwoo feel really upset. At the same time, Hanol comes walking by and Kyungmin asks Youngwoo if he's talked to her yet. So Youngwoo walks up to Hanol to speak with her. Hanol asks him, what are you doing here? Youngwoo says, of course I didn't come to meet you. I came to meet Dr. Kyungmin. Hanol looks surprised and asks, you know Kyungmin? Youngwoo says, of course. He was my senior in high school. I used to take tutoring from him too. Hanol scoffs. Well, I don't think he was a great teacher. Because even without coaching, I beat you in the first semester. Youngwoo gets triggered. Then what about the entrance exam? I scored higher than you in that. Hanol starts calculating again, counting all the times they each beat the other in different tests. Finally, They both come to the conclusion they've defeated each other an equal number of times. Then Hanol asks, weren't you supposed to move out? What happened with that? Youngwoo dramatically replies, actually, I wanted to talk to you about that. You have a job. You live with your family. So why don't you move out? But Hanol ignores him and keeps walking. Youngwoo walks behind her, explaining, look, I used to have everything, but suddenly I lost it all. This could happen to you too, you know. Suddenly, Hanol stopped. Youngwoo gets scared. Maybe she got mad at what he said? But no, it was just a message on her phone about her next appointment. Then Youngwoo overtakes her, still giving her a lecture. Hanol thinks to herself, everyone has their own problems in life. Next, we see Hanol getting scolded again by Dr. Kim. His department had received the worst reviews from practical training students, and he kept blaming Hanol, even though it wasn't her fault. He even kicks her foot in frustration. But Hanol stays calm and composed. Then a junior doctor arrives and informs Dr. Kim that an emergency C-section is needed. A pregnant patient has just come in, and they can't delay because she's a VIP. Dr. Kim immediately calls Hanol to assist in the operation room. After he leaves, another doctor tells Hanol, looks like he's scared to perform the C-section alone. That's why he's dragging you in. In the next scene, we see Hanol inside the operation room. It becomes clear that Dr. Kim is not a very experienced surgeon. He can't even locate the patient's vein properly. He pricks her hand multiple times, causing visible injury. And yet, he blames the patient for having weak veins. That's when Hanol steps forward and says, Dr. Kim, can I try once? He nods and gives her permission. With her calm and experienced hands, Hanol successfully completes the task, and the operation goes smoothly. Later, we see Hanol visiting Dr. Lee Jun. She tells him that she's been feeling pain in her chest. Dr. Lee explains that it's due to depression. He says, depression affects your mental health, but it also impacts your heart. That pain in your chest, it's emotional. He gives her medication, but also says the most important thing, you need to rest. Give yourself some time. That's how you'll heal. Next, we see Hanol back at work when she gets a phone call. She's being called urgently. In the next scene, we see the VIP patient's mother shouting at Dr. Kim. She had donated huge amounts to National University Hospital. There's no shortage of experienced doctors here. Then how did my daughter's hand end up like this? Right then, Hanol rushes in. And Dr. Kim? He shamelessly shifts all the blame to Hanol. He even tells her to apologize to the patient's mother. And sadly, Hanol did. Later, in Dr. Kim's office, he told her, this time, you have to take the full blame. I'm running for chief of anesthesiology next year. I can't take this risk. So if they call us again, just fall at their feet and apologize. They'll forgive you easily. He added, you want to be a professor, right? Help me and I'll help you. Then he said mockingly, why that long face now? Just do what I say. But Hanol had had enough. She said, I wasn't the one who messed up, it was you. You were the one playing around with the patient's arm. Dr. Kim shouted, what did you say? Hanol shouted back. Stop blaming others for your own mistake. You know why our department gets the worst reviews from students? Because your classes are awful. Old theories, boring teaching. You're the reason our department doesn't move forward. So stop blaming everything on me. Hearing all this, Dr. Kim got furious and tried to kick her again. But this time, Hanol kicked him instead, pushed him hard, and he fell to the ground. She said, say sorry for your own mistake. And she started to walk away. Dr. Kim yelled, who are you trying to act proud in front of? If you act like this, you'll never make it in this field. Forget about becoming a doctor. Hanol threw her coat on the table and said, that's enough. I'm not going to sacrifice my health anymore for all this. Hanol quit her job. When Lee Hong found out, she ran out of her clinic to see her. On the way, she bumped into Digging and then reached Hanol. She asked, what happened? I heard you beat up Dr. Kim and quit the hospital. Hanol told her to be quiet. If mom hears this, it'll be bad. Let's talk somewhere else. But it was too late. Hanol's mom had heard everything. She was furious. I did everything to make you a doctor. Sold everything we had just to support your education. And you just left your hospital job like that. Outside, Youngwoo was just walking past and heard the shouting. He stopped and listened quietly. Inside, Hanol was telling her mom why she quit. I work all day with no time to rest. I just need a little time for myself. But her mom got even angrier. We don't have time for that. I've worked so hard, day and night. Sold everything to come here. And now you say you need more time? You know how hard I work behind your back. Hanol broke down crying. She screamed, what do you even know about me? Even in school, I used to study 17 hours a day. That's how I got here today. I worked so hard, became a doctor, and still, I get insulted. I get blamed for mistakes I didn't even make. People treat me like I know nothing. But her mom couldn't understand what her daughter was going through. Hanol finally said, I have depression. Then she walked out of the house crying. Her mom stood there, stunned or realizing for the first time that her daughter was truly suffering. Night fell. Hanol still hadn't returned home. She wasn't answering anyone's calls either. Meanwhile, Youngwoo was returning home too, and he was also thinking about Hanol. Right then, Hanol appeared in front of him. Youngwoo stopped her and asked, "Wanna go for a drink? I'm feeling down. I need to talk." Hanol replied, "One bottle won't do it. If I go with you, you'll have to buy me 3. Youngwoo was surprised but said, "Okay." He tried to offer her his jacket, but Hanol said, "What kind of behavior is this?" Youngwoo said, "What behavior? Are you seriously going to the store in that outfit?" Hanol looked at herself and said, "You're right," and quickly put on the jacket. They both headed to the store for a drink, but fate had other plans. Their high school reunion party was happening right inside that same store. Kim spotted Youngwoo, pulled him to the table, and made him sit. Everyone saw Hanol and asked, "Are you two still in touch?" Hanol replied, "I only contacted him because I had something to talk about." Youngwoo stayed silent, avoiding any explanation. But even here, people started talking about Youngwoo's court case. Youngwoo didn't feel good and stepped out. Kim, Young, and Hanol followed him. Kim tried to cheer him up. "We still care about you. We're your friends." But then he asked, "Did you really kill that patient on purpose?" That made Youngwoo furious. He said, "Why are you both angry at me? What did you lose because of me? Did I ruin your business? No, I gave you jobs when you were bankrupt, because you were my friend. You should have trusted me." Kim Young realized his mistake and tried to apologize, but Youngwoo was too upset. He started to walk away. Hanol followed him, but suddenly Youngwoo stopped and said, "Please, don't follow me." Hanol said, "Have you forgotten? We live in the same building." Hearing that, Youngwoo started walking again. Hanol quietly followed behind him. Once again, Youngwoo stopped and asked her, "Do you still want to drink those 3 bottles of soju?" In the next scene, we see both of them drinking together. While drinking, they talk a lot about life, about the past, and once again, they start teasing each other about how many times one beat the other in school. Later, we see them walking back home. On the way, Youngwoo suddenly saw a man in a black suit and immediately got scared. He whispered to Hanol, "This is my secret. I'm scared of people in black suits." Hanol couldn't help but laugh. She started teasing him, and then they both began playing a game. Who could hit the other harder on the head with a flick? Hanol went first. She gave Youngwoo a strong flick on the head. Youngwoo dramatically dropped to the ground in shock, acting like it really hurt. Hanol laughed so hard and made fun of him. Youngwoo, pretending to be in pain, said, "That was way too hard. Now it's my turn." But just then, Hanol's phone buzzed. It was a message from her mom. The message said, "I don't need anything from you. I just want my daughter back, safe and sound." Reading this, Hanol's eyes filled with tears. Youngwoo looked at her and said, "See? It's my turn, and now you're crying." Hanol tried to smile and said, "It's not that. It's just, I can't stop these tears." And then she broke down and started crying, even more seriously than before. Youngwoo gently told her, "Stop crying, or I'll start crying too." And within moments, both of them were crying like little kids. They hugged each other while crying, pouring out all the pain they'd been holding inside. At that moment, both of them found comfort in each other's presence. They felt safe and less alone. And with that emotional hug, this episode ends.